Welcome to Check It Up with Jessica Lee. I have here Sonita Lontoh, who is the Global VP of Marketing for HP Digital Manufacturing. Welcome, Sonita.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good.
I'm excited to hear about this world of digital manufacturing, like 3D printing glasses.
Yes, exactly. We look good.
Well, HP is really known for like the PCs and ink cartridge printer and all that, but 3D printing and digital manufacturing is a new business.
Yes.
It's high growing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's actually the future. The way HP position it is the future of the company. So the company, when our CEO talks about it, he really talks about the core business, which I think most people know, HP core, and then growth business and future. So 3D printing and digital manufacturing belongs in that future category.
Oh, exciting. And you are in charge of building awareness and attracting demand?
Yes, all kinds of things that kind of like create the awareness, educate the market, and also creating demand for 3D printing, because in the world of manufacturing, 3D printing is still considered like an emerging technology. It's been around for 30 years actually as a technology, not for HP, but it has primarily been used for prototyping. But in the past 5 years or so, with the advancement of the technology and also knowledge, we have seen more and more use of 3D printing for end-use parts or final part production.
Right. And one of the big areas that I know you focus on is like the auto industry.
Yeah, we actually focus on all kinds of things, So there are truly, I would say, perhaps 4 verticals that we're focusing on. One is definitely automotive, and then the others also include medical, consumer products, consumer goods, and also orthotics and prosthetics, which is part of medical. But when you talk about medical, there is kind of the dental part, and then there's prosthetics and orthotics, and those are kind of the 4 verticals that we focus on. And even that actually has been an evolution, Jessica, because this business is new for HP. It was launched about 3 years ago. I joined last year, so I haven't been since the beginning of the business. But I think since then, the business had evolved. I think when HP first launched it, it was focused mainly on the technology, because of course that's HP DNA. It's a technology company. So the thought at that time was, hey, we brought to market this great technology that would enable the use of 3D printing actually for production. But I think over time the business had realized that just launching a technology is not enough, especially to disrupt manufacturing, because in this kind of industrial world, it's very important for a technology company to be viewed as that trusted solutions leader that actually helps the industrial customers succeed in their digital manufacturing journey. Because let's just be honest, digital manufacturing is a journey. Like no one is kind of like there yet, and it's really an evolution. But the point is, HP has the integrated and comprehensive, expertise, but also end-to-end solutions that encompass not just the hardware technology, which is kind of more of like what traditional HP has been, but also software and services that provide, the end-to-end solutions that deliver benefits for the industrial customers.
Right. And what is this interesting sample you have here in front of us?
Yeah, I thought I would like bring, one of the. Yeah, I mean, this is what we call kind of like the the sample 3D printed cube. So this is the kind of thing that we would, showcase, potential customers, or when we go to trade shows and things like that, to show the possibilities that are enabled by 3D printing technology. So really, with 3D printing, you are enabling many new things. The first is new interesting geometry. So for instance, something like this, you can just 3D print it directly. You don't have to assemble it. Like if you guys see here, there is like this properties, like parts properties where you can screw it. You can, create like this chain. The purpose here is to show kind of like the possibilities of all the stuff that you can 3D print all at once instead of having to assemble it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I have another example here. So my iPhone case is also 3D printed.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and if you can see, it is really using a lattice structure, and also it had actually my name embossed on it.
Yeah.
So other things that 3D printing
It's
really
airflow.
enable. Yeah. So new interesting geometries, right? Interesting part properties, and also the mass customization of items. You know.
Very cool.
Yep.
And this is plastic, so you do both metal and plastic.
Yeah, we do both metals and plastics, and I would say probably just kind of like the state of the industry today. Metals is more for industrial use, you know. So when you talk about automotive, even though there is a lot of course plastics parts that go into an automobile, there are I think many more applications of industrial digital manufacturing for the metals technology.
Since this is fairly kind of new for HP, do you
Yeah.
find that the marketing here is different than the marketing of, let's say, the traditional products that HP has been known for?
It is actually very different.
Yeah.
And again, I would say a lot of my marketing activities really revolve around positioning HP, at least in the world of manufacturing, to be the trusted solutions leader that helps customers succeed in their digital manufacturing journey. And what that means, it's really showcasing that we have the expertise and also the end-to-end solutions that help customers to apply this technology to achieve benefits. Because at the end of the day, no one would do a technology just because it's cool or for the sake of it. And especially if you're a business, you want to do that in order to achieve benefits. And there are many benefits for 3D printing, but the way I think about it, there are really three kind of big buckets. I'll categorize those benefits. One is enabling our industrial customers to achieve, improved operational efficiencies for their own operations internally, because with 3D printing they can kind of like use less material. They don't have to use so many manufacturing tools. They can get faster to market. So that's what I would just put as operational efficiencies. And then the second, it enables our customers to offer superior customer experience for their end consumers externally, such as enabling them to create things that can be customized, for their end consumers. And then last but not least, which is usually the hardest for incumbents, is to create new business models and new revenue streams that wouldn't otherwise be possible.
So you need to do a lot of like business consultancy with
Yes, it is almost
OEM.
Exactly. So the marketing activities then, it's interesting because you're right, it's very different, I think, from the consumer or even the commercial business for an established category, because this category, manufacturing, is not mainstream yet. So I would say the marketing really revolves around three pillars. So the first pillar would be that building the market and creating awareness. And the activities there would be kind of developing this multi-touch and multi-channel marketing campaigns that showcase just all the possibilities, and all the benefits that 3D printing enable. And also within this pillar, we work closely with, our counterparts in communications and in public relations to showcase our thought leadership, because you have to have a point of view as to where the market is going. And we, showcase our experts to be thought leaders at industry events, with influencers, and also with industry analysts. And then the second pillar, which is extremely, extremely important in the world of, I would say, industrial manufacturing, is what I would call customer advocacy. So really showcasing customer successes and partner successes, because we have found that, let's say like a big automotive OEM, you can, share kind of your thought leadership and your viewpoint, but at the end of the day, they would like to see, like, has this work, at another similar OEM, like solving similar challenges.
That's more credibility coming from a customer.
Exactly, from a customer. So a lot of our marketing activities, we actually document and showcase our customer successes, be it through our videos, our use case studies. We even let our customers speak, at events and webinars. Really, truly just let the customer shine and kind of share their own journey and their own best practices and lessons learned, because we found that is very powerful.
Right.
And then last but not least, again, as I've mentioned, because it's still an emerging area, so there is still a lot of education. So 3D printing, really, you can only get the full benefits if you actually design the part for 3D printing. So if a company only kind of like take a part that was actually designed for traditional manufacturing and they try to just replace it with 3D printing, they wouldn't be able to take full advantage of the benefits.
Right.
And because of that, of course, as you can imagine, not everyone actually knows how to design for what we call additive manufacturing.
So you offer that design
exactly.
part?
So we do a lot of workshops. It's a very high touch, I would say, education activities.
Yes.
Workshops to help the customers to find which parts are actually suitable for 3D printing, and also help them to build the business case and the technical case, and really partner with the customer. So we do a lot of, I would say, education activities that will then create the demand, because once the customers know which parts needs to be 3D printed, then that kind of create the demand.
Yes. What challenges are you facing then? It's a
Of
new
course,
market. It's a huge challenge.
Of course, a lot of challenges, and I would say the challenge is both internal and external. Internal is because, again, it's not HP core competency, but I found HP to be very open to learning, and they are, hiring people from the outside that have this experience. And then, of course, the external challenge is just like with any digital transformation. The way I view this, it's not just 3D printing; it's really helping the digital transformation of the manufacturing industry. And as you can imagine, with any digital transformation efforts, they're just you truly have to be able to showcase kind of the benefits of the solution. So the challenge is educating the market and showcasing the benefits.
And I know you were in the smart cities industry before. That's also a very fascinating industry, right?
Yes.
Do you see some similarities between the two worlds now?
Actually, there is a lot of similarity. So when I look back at my career, it's kind of interesting, Jessica. Before I came here, I was like, hey, let me look back, kind of like what are some of my experiences. So I think my experiences have always been in that intersection of new technology, enabling new business models, right? And there's always some kind of digital transformation going on, be it in the infrastructure space, like with smart cities and industrial IoT, or of course now digital transformation in the manufacturing space with 3D printing and digital manufacturing. So a lot of the similarities that I see is, one, you have to change minds, because even in the smart city space, the infrastructure had been built a certain way for a very long time. And now with the advent of, I would just call it industrial IoT technology, and what that means, it's really the layering of this intelligence and two-way communications, that will enable kind of like a better balance between supply and demand that creates, a more efficient system. I just think like one of the biggest challenge is really to open minds, and educate people, both the people who are currently in the workforce, but also those who are coming into the workforce, of the advantages and a new way of thinking that is like enabled by this digital transformation. And the digital transformation could be in the infrastructure space, like what I've done before, or could also be in manufacturing, like what HP is trying to do today.
How exciting! So what's your number one goal at this point then?
I think 3D printing is very exciting, Jessica, because 3D printing, along with other advanced technologies like advanced robotics, industrial IoT, and artificial intelligence, are really enabling this fourth industrial revolution that will create a system that is more efficient, cleaner, safer, and more sustainable for everyone, right? And for someone like me who came from the industrial background, it's very exciting because this is kind of the opportunity to be a part of history. Because when you look back at history, the first industrial revolution, about 200 years ago, was really the use of water and steam power to mechanize production.
Yes.
It happened actually in Britain, in the UK. And then the second industrial revolution is really the use of electric power. Thomas Edison and all that, in the late 1800s, enabled the use of electricity to create mass production. And then the third industrial revolution that happened perhaps in the last, I would say, 40 years, is the use of electronics and information technology to automate production.
Okay.
And now we're at the cusp of this fourth industrial revolution, right, with all these new technology that are coming, including 3D printing, that will really blur kind of like the physical and the digital world. So the physical and the digital world will kind of like combine together to achieve this kind of more efficient and safer and cleaner environment. So for me personally, that's extremely exciting because you really can be a part of like not only just selling a product, but actually you're a part of this bigger kind of like more historical fourth industrial revolution kind of ecosystem.
And what trends are you seeing that is causing the demand so much?
Yeah, so there are, of course, many things going on in the world of manufacturing today, but I would summarize those in actually three big buckets as well, and I would just call them 3D, which are basically decentralization and democratization and decarbonization. And so let me talk briefly about each one. So decentralization, there is a trend right now in manufacturing for manufacturing system to be less and less centralized and more distributed and closer to where the demands are. So that will require manufacturers to have to be able to respond faster to consumer demand. So they have to kind of be closer to where the demands are. And then the second D, which is democratization or personalization, there is also an increasing trend for customers, be it like B2B customers or end consumers, to require product solution systems that are more personalized and customized for their needs, right?
Yes.
And then the last, I would say, trend that's going on is this decarbonization or sustainability, where in some countries, I think there is even like mandates or requirements that manufacturers are looking for ways to be more energy and resource efficient to achieve better sustainability. So when you look at all these trends, these trends really create challenges for manufacturers, especially traditional manufacturing, right? Because they have developed this infrastructure system, in the old ways that may be challenged to respond to these new trends, and new demands. But the way I look at it, for every challenge, there is an opportunity, and for manufacturers who want to get ahead of these challenges, they will embrace these digital technologies, including 3D printing, industrial IoT, advanced robotics, and all these new technologies that will actually enable them to tackle these challenges that are caused by the trends and actually thrive and reap the benefits.
But this is more expensive.
I think
in some ways.
That's why it really depends on the specific applications. So this is not this is not kind of like a horizontal technology. This is not the kind of technology, especially the kind of 3D printing that HP does, because it's not a consumer desktop 3D printing, right? These are big machines, capable of producing millions of parts. So it's very application specific, and that's why kind of that engagement, that strategic engagement with the customer is extremely important, because you have to help the customer find, hey, which application would actually be beneficial for them in the long run, because they have to look at it from a systems perspective and not just a point solution of like a printer, sitting somewhere in the corner printing some kind of parts, And for this particular example, for instance, we're working with Volkswagen, and Volkswagen actually is the largest automobile company in the world, and we are partnering with them where it's a strategic partnership, so it's not just a one-time, or like a short-term thing, but we are actually working with them where they're looking to leverage our technology to design parts that will eventually go into perhaps even their electric vehicle platform or autonomous vehicle platform, where a lot of parts will need to be 3D printed, because for electric vehicles and for autonomous vehicles, the lighter the vehicle is the better for the efficiency of the cars. And also they want to provide like a nice customer experience internally, which a lot of kind of like the things in the interior would need to be customized for the customers. So these are the kind of like applications, should I say it, that we're working very closely with our strategic kind of big customers in order to make sense and making sure that they gain the benefits.
Wow, that's exciting. So as consumers, we can anticipate these new products coming out that has 3D manufacturing or digital manufacturing components in them.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Sonita. Thank you for sharing all of this industrial digitalization, the transformation that's happening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching Tech It Up with Jessica Lee, Sonita Lontoh from HP.
Thank you.